If you've been following the recent arcs, you know that things have been feeling off for Stephanie Johnson. There's a shadow looming over her, a sense of being watched that sends chills down your spine. And while all eyes have been on Jeremy, I've got a theory that is going to blow your mind. Is Jeremy truly the villain, or is he just a pawn in a much more dangerous game being played by a ghost from the past? Grab your coffee, settle in, and let's dive deep into the twisted psyche of Salem's newest Anvil des Streets. The return of a nightmare, Wes Ramsey as Owen Kent. Let's start with the bombshell news that has the entire dual fandom shaking. Wes Ramsey is rumored to be returning to our screens. Now, for the newer fans, you might be asking, who is Owen Kent? But for those of us who have been living and breathing Salem for decades, that name brings back memories of one of the most chilling storylines in Stephanie Johnson's history. Owen Kent wasn't just a bad boy, he was a man consumed by a dark, pathological obsession. Back in 2009, he was hired to kidnap Stephanie, but the job turned into something far more sinister when he actually fell in love with her, at least, his twisted version of love. He kept her in a morgue drawer, for heaven's sake. That kind of trauma doesn't just go away. Personally, I find the timing of Wes Ramsey's return to be absolute genius by the writers. We've been seeing Stephanie struggle with the feeling of being stalked, and the show has been leaning very hard into making us suspect Jeremy. But let's be real, is Jeremy really that sophisticated? Jeremy seems like a man driven by ego and lingering regret over what could have been with Stephanie. Owen Kent, however, is a man driven by a broken mind and a decade of simmering fixation. I'm calling it now. Owen is back, he's in the shadows, and he's been watching Stephanie this entire time. He knows Jeremy is an easy target. By framing Jeremy, Owen can remove a rival and keep the heat off himself while he prepares to make his final move on Stephanie. It's classic soap opera villainy, and I am here for every second of it. The unlikely alliance, Julie Williams and Jeremy. Now, let's pivot to something that sounds like it's coming straight out of a Twilight Zone episode of Other Days. We're hearing that the legendary Julie Williams, matriarch of Salem, the woman who has seen it, Alice, going to become Jeremy's primary confidant. According to the latest leaks, Julie is hosting a book club meeting, which, let's face it, is probably just an excuse for the town's elite to gossip over tea. But after the tea is poured and the books are closed, Jeremy finds himself opening up to her. He's going to share the pain he feels over these harassment allegations involving Stephanie. I have to stop and analyze this for a second. Why Julie? Julie is usually the first person to call out a rat when she sees one. But think about it, Julie has a soft spot for family and for people she perceives as being wronged by the system. If Jeremy plays the misunderstood gentleman card correctly, he could manipulate Julie's maternal instincts. But here's my personal take. I don't think Jeremy is entirely faking his pain. I think he is genuinely haunted by his past with Stephanie. However, there's a thin line between love and entitlement. Jeremy feels he is owed a chance with her. Julie might see his tears and think they come from a place of repentance, but we, the audience, know that Jeremy's motives are rarely pure. The question is Julie being played, or does she see something in Jeremy that the rest of Salem is missing? Could it be that she recognizes Jeremy is being set up, just like many members of her own family have been in the past? The confrontation, Jada Hunter versus the matriarch. This leads us to what will surely be the must-watch scene of the week. Jada Hunter, who has been doing some incredible detective work lately, is going to show up at Julie's door with what she claims is irrefutable evidence of Jeremy's guilt. Can you imagine the sparks flying? Jada is all logic, evidence, and procedure. Julie is all heart, history, and intuition. When Jada presents the proof, maybe it's digital footprints, a piece of clothing, or a witness statement, Julie is going to stand her ground. She's going to refuse to believe that the man who just bared his soul to her is a criminal. This creates such a fascinating conflict. Usually, we're rooting for the police to catch the bad guy. But what if the evidence is exactly what I suspected earlier? What if Owen Kent planted it? If Owen is as smart as he was years ago, he would know exactly how to leave a trail that leads straight to Jeremy's doorstep. I predict that Julie's refusal to believe Jada isn't just stubbornness, it's the writers giving us a hint that the obvious answer isn't the right one. Julie's promise to help Jeremy clear his name is going to set off a chain reaction that could put both of them in Owen's crosshairs. The legal battle of January 26th to 30th. As we move into the final week of January, the stakes are getting higher. Jeremy is going to realize that good intentions aren't enough to keep him out of Statesville. He's going to need a lawyer, and he's going to need one fast. Who will it be? Will he turn to Justin Kiriakis? Or perhaps a more morally flexible attorney who can fight dirty? Regardless of who takes the case, the courtroom drama is going to be intense. Jeremy is maintaining his innocence with a fervor that is almost convincing. If he were truly the stalker, wouldn't he be acting more smug? Instead, he seems desperate. He seems like a man who knows the walls are closing in, and he has no idea why. I've been comparing this to the old Who Framed Roger Rabbit vibes, but with a Salem twist. Jeremy is the patsy. He's not bad, he's just drawn that way. Meanwhile, the real monster is lurking in the wings, watching the chaos unfold with a sickening grin. The danger for Alex and Stephanie. Finally, we have to talk about Alex and Stephanie. While they are busy worrying about Jeremy, the real threat is Owen Kent. If Owen's goal is to reclaim Stephanie, then Alex Kiriakis is his biggest obstacle. History tells us that Owen doesn't just want Stephanie, he wants to own her. He wants to isolate her. By framing Jeremy, he's already creating tension and fear. But the next step in his plan will undoubtedly be more physical. We need to be on high alert for accidents happening to Alex. We need to watch for Owen making a move to kidnap Stephanie again. I'm genuinely worried for Stephanie. She's already been through so much. To have her past trauma literally walk back into her life in the form of Owen Kent is a nightmare scenario. So, what do you think, Duel fans? Is Jeremy the creepy stalker we've all been suspecting? Or are you joining me on the Owen Kent is the mastermind train? Can Julie Williams actually be the one to save the day? Or is she leading herself into a trap? The week of January 26th is going to be a roller coaster. Make sure you have your DVR set and your social media ready, because we are going to have a lot to talk about. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more deep dives and daily spoilers, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a moment of the drama. Until next time, stay obsessed, Salem. Part 2. We will learn about the emotional crossroads, difficult conversations, and quietly life-changing decisions that unfolded in Salem on Thursday, January 22, 2026. In a powerful episode of Days of Our Lives. This episode may not have relied on shocking twists or explosive confrontations, but instead delivered something far more lasting, character-driven drama rooted in regret, reconciliation, and the painful understanding that not everyone can stay in Salem forever. Nearly every storyline revolved around one central idea: the past cannot be undone, but how we face it determines the future. Steve hands Jada a clue that could change everything. The day begins with Steve Johnson stepping into a familiar role, the seasoned investigator who notices what others overlook. In a quiet but meaningful exchange, Steve offers Jada what he describes as a small detail, though both of them know nothing in Salem is ever truly small. This clue, subtle as it may seem, has the potential to redirect an ongoing investigation and expose truths that have remained buried far too long. Jada immediately understands the importance of Steve's insight. She trusts his instincts, knowing his years of experience have taught him when to speak and when to stay silent. While the specifics of the clue remain intentionally vague, the moment signals that Jada may soon be forced to reconsider assumptions she once believed were solid. In Salem, certainty is often the most dangerous illusion of all. Gabby, Philip, and a polite date that carries complications. Across town, Gabby Hernandez finds herself navigating complicated emotions with surprising grace. Despite everything she's been through, she approaches her recent date with Philip with maturity and politeness, determined not to let old wounds dictate her behavior. Their conversation is sincere, thoughtful, and notably restrained, a sign that both characters are trying to act like adults, even when their hearts may not fully cooperate. Gabby listens as Philip opens up, and for a moment, the two seem to share a genuine connection. However, beneath the calm surface, unresolved history lingers. Gabby's politeness is real, but it is also protective. She has learned the hard way that vulnerability must be earned, not rushed. JJ walks into a room full of laughter and lingering guilt. Meanwhile, JJ Devereaux remains in the hospital, where the atmosphere is unexpectedly light, as Gabby and Theo share laughter by the bedside. For JJ, standing outside the room, this moment is harder than he anticipated. After days of fear, guilt, and quiet self-reflection, hearing laughter feels both comforting and isolating. Eventually, he gathers the courage to enter, carrying burgers he picked up from the pub, a simple gesture, but one filled with meaning. Food has always been JJ's way of saying, "I'm here, and I care," even when words fail him. Gabby greets him kindly, her warmth reminding JJ that not every relationship has to be defined by past mistakes. Can Theo and JJ truly be friends again? The heart of the episode lies in the evolving relationship between Theo and JJ. Theo notices immediately how JJ reacts when he learns where Gabby has been, though JJ quickly shrugs it off, insisting he's just grateful Theo is awake and recovering. The truth, however, is far more complicated. The two finally address the incident at the police station, each offering sincere apologies for how things spiraled out of control. JJ speaks passionately about his recent training, emphasizing non-bias, de-escalation, and the absolute necessity of using force only as a last resort. While his words are well-intentioned, they raise serious concerns about the Salem Police Department, particularly the fact that these principles seem newly learned rather than deeply ingrained. For days, JJ sat by Theo's bedside, talking endlessly, filling the silence with stories, memories, and reassurances. Theo appreciates the devotion, but he also challenges JJ, urging him to be truly prepared for high-risk situations rather than relying on good intentions alone. JJ promises he will do better, not just as an officer, but as a friend. Their reconciliation feels genuine, earned through honesty rather than convenience. Together, they reconnect with Gabby, forming a fragile but hopeful sense of unity. Still, Theo's cryptic comment that he doubts Gabby and Philip will last lingers in the air. He refuses to explain his reasoning, leaving JJ unsettled and confused, reminded once again that Salem's calm moments are often temporary. EJ's return looms, and he may not be alone. Adding another layer of anticipation to the episode is the growing buzz around DiMera's impending return to Salem. Whispers suggest that he may not come back alone, raising questions about alliances, unfinished business, and power struggles waiting to reignite. Though EJ doesn't appear on screen, his looming presence casts a long shadow, reminding everyone that old forces are rarely gone for good. Julie panics as Jeremy confirms his departure. On a far more personal front, Julie Williams finds herself consumed by worrying. After returning home in a state of panic, she calls Marlene to apologize for a joke she fears went too far. Marlene, calm as ever, reassures her that no harm was done, offering gentle wisdom that only years of experience can provide. However, Julie's relief is short-lived. Jeremy soon confirms that he plans to leave Salem, revealing complications in a reconciliation plan involving Thomas. Apparently, Thomas was unhappy with certain details, casting doubt over whether the agreement can truly hold. Jeremy insists he will speak with the boy before leaving, hoping reason and time will smooth things over. Despite his confidence, Julie senses there is more beneath the surface. She wonders aloud whether Jeremy's decision to leave is tied to Stephanie's engagement. The question hangs heavily between them. Jeremy avoids giving a direct answer, but his silence speaks volumes. He admits that he had hoped to repair his relationship with Stephanie, to find some form of closure or understanding. However, he recognizes that respecting her boundaries is the only choice left to him. Love, he seems to understand now, cannot be forced, and sometimes walking away is the most respectful act of all. A day defined by quiet turning points. Thursday's episode of Days of Our Lives reminds viewers that life-changing moments don't always arrive with dramatic music or raised voices. Sometimes, they come in hospital rooms filled with laughter, in polite conversations over dinner, or in painful decisions made behind closed doors.